Hello, 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 ladies. I am so excited to talk to you guys about 24 mindset shifts for women called to more. 24 mindset shifts for women who are called to more. Okay, so jump in. Let's take some notes. Let's do this thing. And yeah, I hope that this is going to be a transformational moment for you, a mindset shift. So, number one, okay, the first part of this mindset shift teaching is going to be focused on coming out of confusion and into clarity. Coming out of confusion and into clarity. Okay, so number one, the first mindset shift tip is going to be accept that wanting more is not wrong. Accept that wanting more is not wrong. Now, in Isaiah chapter 54, verse 2, it says, enlarge the place of your tent. God wants you to be blessed. God does not want you to be struggling, going through hardship, but that is a product of a lot of our choices. And it's kind of the way that things are sometimes for us to get to the place that He wants us to go. But one of the results of being a child of God and doing what God asks you to do is blessing, is enlargement of your territory. Many women feel guilt for wanting success or wealth. Desire often signals calling, not selfishness. God expands vision before He expands provision. Playing small helps no one, including your family. There are so many people out there who are waiting for you to get yourself together. There are so many people out there who are waiting for you to have the finances to help them to be able to build out that nonprofit or that ministry or that service or even to invent the next thing. Imagine if nobody ever came out with the light bulb or cars. Oh my gosh. Like Jesus was walking around. He was walking from city to city. I'm not trying to walk on these cute little feet that I got going on. I have a car. They invented bikes for those who are not on cars, things like that. So there's people who are waiting for you, including your family. Let's talk about number two. Start before you feel ready. This is the biggest one. Perfectionism will kill you and kill your dreams and kill your vision. You don't have to be great to start. That's what Zig Ziglar said. You do not have to be great to start. But so many people want it to be perfect. They want to have all the things in order. It's like, for me, I have 3 kids, right? And I'm like, mom, I know about momming. So I have a lot of siblings. I have a lot of friends who, when we were younger, everybody thinks that it's okay to say, well, I want to have kids when everything is right, when I have all my finances right, when I have everything in order. But you don't really need any of that to have kids. You just need to have a good heart, a loving heart. And of course, like there's better scenarios and there's worse scenarios. But in order to have a kid and be a good parent, you don't need to have your finances right. You don't need to hit your career. There's never going to be an end to you becoming who you're going to be. So, readiness is a myth created by fear. Confidence comes after movement. Every successful woman once felt unqualified. Let me repeat that. Every successful woman once felt unqualified. Action reduces anxiety. You have to start a lot of times before you're ready. Number 3, define your vision clearly. Where there is no vision, what does the Bible say? The people what? Perish. The Bible also says, write down the vision and make it plain so that those who read it can run. Write the vision and make it plain. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. That's Proverbs 29, verse 18. Most people don't fail, they drift. They'd rather drift through life than fail. Write down your lifestyle, your income, and your freedom goals, and look at them every day and tell yourself, I'm going to that place. Because if you don't, you won't. Your brain needs direction to find opportunity. You have to be able to start figuring out, okay, how am I going to get to the goal? But if you haven't even written down the goal, if you haven't even thought about the goal, you're just like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to own a business. I know that about myself. Well, okay, what kind of business? How are you going to do it? Where are you going to get the resources? How is it going to look? How's it going to feel? You need to start writing these things down. Vague dreams. I'm going to say this for the people in the back. Vague dreams produce vague results. I'm going to say it again. Vague dreams produce vague results. If you are vague about your future, you will be vague about the results of your future. Who knows where you're going to be? Or I'm going here. And the next 2 years, this is what I'm working on and this is what I'm doing. No, you don't know the twists and the turns of life that may change that scenario. But you're headed on a path towards something. You have to be headed towards a goal. And if God wants to switch your path, change it, put some spice in it, that's okay. But at least you're headed somewhere. Number 4, stop over consuming information. Huh? I thought we were supposed to learn. Stop over consuming information. Applied knowledge is power. This is a Tony Robbins quote. Applied knowledge is power. If you're just consuming, but you're not applying any of that knowledge, you're not doing anything. You have to be able to take information and put it to work. Now, you can't take all the information that there is out there and put it to work. Just like there are different doctrines in the Christian religion, and you need to be able to submit yourself to one. You can't submit yourself to all of them. But you have to find something that makes sense for you and follow it to a T so that you can see the success that is promised with those results. Don't try to get all the knowledge that there is out there. It will completely destroy you. It'll cause you to be so confused and so confounded and so stuck on the little details that you won't be able to go where you want to go. So podcasts and courses can make you become a procrastinator if you're not dialed in. It's important for you to get into one group, get into one thing and just follow it to a T so that you can see the success. Put in everything you have into one area so that you can focus on dynamic results. Learning should immediately lead to implementation. This is the mindset that you need to have around learning. When you read a book, don't just read a book and then read another book. When you read a verse, don't just read a verse and read another verse. When you consume stuff, bring it in, meditate on it, and figure out how can I apply this to my life. That's how you grow. Ask, what can I apply today? Every time you learn something new, you should be applying that to your life. That's how you grow. Not just being the most knowledgeable person on this earth, but you don't live it. What is that, hypocritical? You can tell everybody what to do, but you can't do it yourself. Builders execute faster than they prepare. I'm going to just drop that. Boom. Builders execute faster than they prepare. Builders, visionaries, and I know you're a visionary because you're here right now. They execute things fast. When they have a vision, they're running, and everybody on their team is running after them, trying to make that thing happen. They're not sitting around like, let me prepare this. Let me figure out every detail of it. No, the details are, somebody's going to figure out the details. But you're running because you know you have to get this thing out. Number 5, focus on one path at a time. Focus on one path at a time. Laser-like focus. This is a Bruce Lee quote. Now, light is powerful, but diffuse light is less powerful. The more concentrated the light, it can do more, right? The concentrated light can cut through metal, but diffuse light, it doesn't do anything to metal. I have a light shining on me right now. It's not cutting through me. But when it becomes more and more concentrated, it can cut through metal. Too many ideas create paralysis. Momentum requires commitment. Mastery beats multitasking. And success compounds when energy is concentrated. Number 6, trust the next step. Trust the next step. God rarely gives the full blueprint. Faith grows through movement. Obedience unlocks clarity, and waiting for clarity delays your destiny. Sometimes you're just going to have an understanding that you need to go this way. Sometimes you're just going to have an understanding that you need to do this or that, but you don't have the whole story. You don't know if it's going to work, but you're going to try it. Because if you don't try, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Sometimes you don't know if this mentor is really going to help you, but you're willing to get in there and see and try it out. Trust the next step. Sometimes it's not going to work out as planned. Sometimes you're going to fall flat on your face, but guess what? The most successful people on this earth, they fell, and what did they do? They got back up again. And they kept getting back up again. And that is the definition of perseverance. Perseverance. So, part 2, we're going to talk about building confidence before results. Everybody wants results, but they're not building the confidence. Now, William James, he had a really cool little quote, and so I made it number 7. He said, become her now. Meaning the her that you're becoming, you should be walking in those shoes. You should be dressing in those clothes. You should be talking in that tone. You should have your head up as the her that you are becoming, because you are already her. Because when you become her, you're going to look back on this moment and it's still going to be you. So identity drives behavior. Dress, speak, and think like your future self. Confidence is practiced, not gifted. Act from who you are becoming. It's easy to talk about this in church, right? If you want to be a wife, act like a wife now. Now, I'm not telling you to cook dinners and clean, and that's a whole nother YouTube video, right? Of how to step into dating as a godly woman. But the things that you want to be, if you want to be somebody's wife, when a man finds a wife, they find a good thing and they obtain favor from the Lord. Let's talk about that for the men. For the men, they obtain favor from the wife that they found. But when they find you, they're not finding a woman who's becoming a wife. They're finding a wife who's already a wife. So do you become a wife when you get married, or do you become a wife when you become a wife? When you step into the identity of who you are, you have to know your identity. Number 8, release fear of judgment. This was Lao top 2. Release the fear of judgment. Who cares what people think of you? Who cares? If they like your hair, whoop-de-doo. I heard somebody say that. I don't really know what that means, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying that. Whoop-de-doo. If they like your hair, that's great. If they don't like your hair, whoop-de-doo also. If you like your hair, that is what matters. Don't worry about what people think of you. Run. Don't look to the left or to the right. Run towards the path of what you need to do and be the best version of yourself. That's not pride. That's confidence. There's a difference between pride and confidence. Fear of opinions keeps women invisible. You will be invisible if you are afraid because nobody wants you to stand out. Nobody wants you to do your own thing. People feel more comfortable when you're sitting down doing what they're doing. But are you called to do that? When you are called to go to church and sit in the chair and be quiet, yes, go and do that. Don't be in there acting a fool. There's a time when, yeah, that's not okay, right? Let's get some chill. Let's get some chill. We're not going to go into church or go into, an airplane and do some crazy stuff. But when it's time for me to rise into my calling, I can't be worried about judgment. I can't be worried about what they have to say. People judging what they secretly fear attempting. I'm sorry. People judge what they secretly fear attempting. So maybe they thought about wearing that kind of dress, but they never had the nerve, and you wore it. And you're wearing it with confidence. And they're thinking, what? I wish I would have did that, but this is why I didn't. And they start poking out the holes. Forget what people think. Growth requires visibility. Approval is expensive, and the price is your purpose. Do not live for people's approval. I'll repeat it. Do not live for people's approval. Number 9, invest in yourself. Warren Buffett. Skills create independence. Education shortens struggle seasons. Investing in growth signals belief in yourself. Your earning power grows with your knowledge. It is so important for you to invest in yourself, not only financially, for you to invest time. I know people look at me and they're like, wow, like, do you get up every day and do your makeup and stuff and your hair? And like, I look at them and I say, yes, of course. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have my homeless version of me, which is like the sweatpants, no makeup on, which I think I look beautiful with no makeup on. So you can't tell me nothing. But my point is, I feel like I actually also look a little homeless when my hair is sticking up and I'm just in my chill mode. But do I put time into my appearance? Yes. Why? Because I want to impress people? No. Because I'm investing into myself. I value myself. I want to spend time doing this. I want to spend time doing my facial regimens, doing my 3 different facial regimens at night and my 3 or 4 regimens in the morning and doing what I do. That's before makeup, and then just enjoying spending time taking care of my body, because this is what a temple, right? And so just as much as I'm going to take time to spend it developing my body and investing money into the top products and going to the spa and getting facials and getting my massages and getting my hair done, getting my nails done, and whatever it is, I need to invest into my mind. I need to invest into my heart. I need to invest into my spirit. I need to invest into my business. I need to invest into everything in my life, right? And that shows value and growth. So when you invest in growth, like Warren Buffett said, it signals belief in yourself because you have to buy it first. And then your earning power begins to grow, because with knowledge comes earning power. And so it's important for you to invest in yourself. I remember before I had ever bought any mentorship programs, I was like, I am not paying somebody to mentor me. That is crazy. Why would I pay somebody to like give me information that I could figure out on my own? Because when somebody gives you the ABCs of life and it's so quick and easy, and you can now just shift your way of living so quickly, that is valuable because now you're moving. Now you're reducing time. You're either going to pay in time or you're going to pay in money so you can keep your time. And guess what? The only finite one is time. You'll never get your time back. So if you can speed up your potential for earning power, for growth as a person mentally, growth as a professional, whether that's my academy, no pun intended, I'm going to put a little commercial. Hello, my name is Danielle Thomas, and I am the CEO and founder of Building Foundations that houses an academy called High Performance Sales Academy, where we help women to learn about high ticket sales so that they can make massive amounts of money online from anywhere, et cetera, right? So I had to do it. I had to do it. Okay. So my point is invest in yourself. Number 10, change your questions. Henry Ford, change your questions. Now, your brain solves the questions that you ask. So if you're sitting around thinking like, I wonder what kind of pizza I'm going to eat, you just wasted brain power rather than like thinking about the cellular makeup of the earth and the fact that we're all just little dots that are sticking together. And how did that happen? Why are my dots not sticking to these dots? How is that? Who did that? God. Oh, okay. Wow. We serve an amazing God who is powerful with endless possibilities. How deep does that go? Whoa, the questions that I could ask. Why am I not rich? Why are they rich? Why is a 16-year-old coming out with an idea and becoming a millionaire overnight? And I'm over here sitting in bed, eating popcorn, watching Netflix, trying to figure out how am I going to become the next? Why not me? Change your questions. Replace fear questions with possibility questions. Mindset shifts begin with language. How you talk, how you think. Mindset shifts start up here, but this comes to this. And this can also mess up this. So you have to be careful the way you talk. You have to be careful the way you let yourself think. I would not dare think, oh, I'm never going to make it. I remember there was a time when I thought that. I can't remember because it was so long ago. Like, what the heck? But I used to think like that. Oh, everything bad always happens to me. I never win things. Oh, man, it's probably not going to work out anyway. So why even try? I don't know why I even try. These are horrific things that you're telling your brain rather than like, yeah, I am amazing. Of course, I'm going to kill it. And if I don't, I'm going to find another way to kill it. Like, why am I not? I'm going to be the next Oprah. I'm going to be the next top sales woman in the United States. I'm going to kill it this year. I'm going to make over 6 figures in sales monthly by next year. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that I haven't done this stuff before. I'm just so smart. Like the ideas that come into my mind. You need to start thinking of what could you do? What do you want? It's not that far from you. There's no difference between you and Warren Buffett. You just figured out something that you didn't figure out. Did you ever think about that? He was born from a human. He was born from a woman. He had to go to school just like you. Yeah, maybe he went to a special school. But guess what I found out recently that I did not know? All these wealthy people, they're mentored by other wealthy people who figured out something and shared that information with them. So Bill Gates, guess who Bill Gates' mentor is? Warren Buffett. And guess who Elon Musk's mentor is? One of his mentors is Bill Gates. And these are the wealthiest people. There's a connection. What in the world? This stuff is not being told, right? So why don't you have a mentor in the area you want to go? I know I've taught so many young people about spirituality, and I've been a mentor for years, teaching people about God, teaching people how to develop themselves spiritually. And they jumped astronomically into the things of God to be able to know God and be able to operate as a true servant of God. And just the struggles, it was easily able to be adjusted because somebody was able to say, oh, do this, do that, change this, stop doing that. And if you listen, you get the results. Results are not like a respecter of man. It's not like, oh, the result's going to look at you and be like, I don't like you. I'm not doing it for you, but I'm going to do it for her. No, results respect the process that it takes to get to the result. So change your questions. Mindset shifts with language. Change your language, change your mode of operation, change the way that you speak, change the way that you think. What does the word say? Claim every thought, take every thought captive. How do we take our thoughts captive? I remember I didn't know that I had control over my mind because thoughts were just entering and exiting. I realized how important this thing is. This thing is important. So what do? I protect my mind. I protect what goes into it. I'm not watching everything on TV. If you ask me what's going on in the news, could care less because I don't need that in my mind. If somebody starts having a conversation with me that I don't want to engage in, I will respectfully decline because I don't need that in my mind. Even if it's important, good information. No, 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 no. My mind works a specific way and you're not privy to come in and change that. Then when thoughts come in, maybe there's a thought that popped into my mind that I shouldn't be having. No, you have to go. I'm not listening to that. I'm not responding to that. I'm not meditating on that. Okay. Change your questions. Number 11, keep promises to yourself. This should be simple. Keep promises to yourself. Self-trust is built privately. You have to believe in yourself before other people are going to believe in you. You have to keep your promises. If you tell you, and I'm talking to myself right now, I'm like, oh man. Because I keep telling myself I'm going to go to the gym. I keep telling myself I'm going to go and read books every day. Every week, I'm going to finish one book. I keep telling myself I'm going to do these things, right? We have to keep promises to ourselves. Small wins create internal confidence. That's how you start feeling yourself. Because I know when I start doing things that I said I'm going to do, I kind of sit up a little bit more. And when I walk in the room, I kind of feel myself a little bit. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, I did that. I do that thing. Discipline removes emotional decision making. Because I'm not somebody who is easily moved and I don't speak lightly. I don't make decisions lightly because I'm a disciplined person. Integrity with yourself changes everything because now you value yourself. You value the outcomes because you know that you have power over them. Number 12, stop comparing. Theodore Roosevelt. Stop comparing. Social media shows outcomes, not sacrifice. Nobody knew what it took me to get here. So you might be looking at me, you might be looking at you, and you're like, we're not the same. You can get there. There's a process to get to that place that you see, maybe not me, maybe you see some amazing person. Maybe you want to be the next Oprah Winfrey, and you're like, okay, how is she speaking so amazing? Wow, the way that she puts things together and the way that she captivates people. There's a process that everybody has to go through. And you can get there if you decide to. Comparison steals momentum. Because every time you take a step forward and then you look at the person who's ahead of you, you start thinking like, oh man, I'm not there. And it slows you down. Everyone's timeline is different. Even if you start at the same time as somebody else. I know there was a time when I would struggle because I felt like people who started at the same time as me, they seemed to go ahead and I was still taking my time. Everybody's timeline is different because there may be a time, just kind of like when you're on the freeway and you're in the fast lane and then the fast lane slows down and everybody else seems to be going fast by you. If you stay in your lane, you'll realize that that lane is going to slow down too, and you're going to keep going. So everybody's just on their own path. Focus on progress, not position. Don't be somebody who needs a title. Don't be somebody who needs recognition. Don't be somebody who needs approval. We already talked about that. You cannot live for that. Focus on what are you actually doing? What value do you actually carry as a person? Are you a liar? Are you a cheater? Are you a stealer? A thief? I'm sorry. I keep saying stealer. I'm like, that's not a thing. Are you a thief? Are you rude? Do you disrespect your parents even though you're an adult and you could do whatever you want? Who are you? That's the value that you carry, not the position that you have and the money that you make. Who cares about that? Because if you suck as a person, I promise you, people will not want to be around you, even if you're successful. But if you get to the place and you've done it the right way, you get to have all the perks. So part 3, we're going to talk about think like a wealth builder. Okay. This is so important. This is like where my tinglies start tingling as a financial advisor. And of course, I'm not giving you guys any advice. None of this serves as advice. It's just purely motivational content and, just me kind of just sharing my ideas, but you make your own decisions. Okay. So number 13, learn high income skills, not sales. Learn high income skills. Learn high income skills. This is how you build wealth. When I was a kid, when I was 18, or even probably a little younger, I wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to be successful. And I remember I thought that maybe if I had enough jobs that I would be successful. Like, why not? If I work 3 jobs, I'll eventually be successful. But working harder does not get you to success. Let me say it again. Working harder does not get you to success. Sales, communication, leadership, those increase your income ceiling. There's other things that you can do. Learning, going to school to become a doctor, go to school to be a lawyer, but that takes a little bit longer, right? But the point is, learn high income skills that can earn you the money that you want. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. Because I promise you, the people at the top, they're enjoying life more than the people who are working harder every day, all day. So which one do you want to be? It's up to you. Number 14, solve problems. Be a problem solver. Be a problem solver. Money is exchanged in solutions. So ask yourself, whose problem can I solve today? Also, for business ideas, find a need and fill it. If you notice that, oh my gosh, like it would be so much easier. I wonder who created the pool cleaner, right? The automatic pool cleaner. Somebody was sitting there cleaning the pool with the stick thing. And they probably thought like, it would be kind of cool if this thing could do its own thing. And they filled the problem. They solved the problem because there's many people who would love to have something that would automatically clean the pool. And that is the whole vibe, right? Solving problems. Same thing for sales. Be a problem solver. Find the problem and solve it. What is the problem that your client is having? Your prospect is having? Be the problem solver. Service creates opportunity. Impact and income are connected. Impact and income are connected. When you make an impact on people's lives, your income will go up. Your goal should not be to make income. Your goal should be to make impact. And a residual effect of impact is income. Number 15, seek leverage. Now, this is Robert Kawasaki, the guy who wrote, what is that book called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the book. It's like a money book. Now I have to look it up because I'm not going to let this go. Let me see. I have it in my library. Where's my library? Okay, well, I can't remember what the book is called. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Seek leverage. Trading only time. Trading only time limits growth. Learn scalable skills. So what does that mean? Trading only time limits your growth. It means if you're just going to work to make money and you just clock in and clock out, that limits your growth. But if you have a scalable skill set where you can maximize the time that you have, not just for money, but to be able to do the best version of yourself, that is where you are going to have a leverage. Systems create freedom. Smart work multiplies efforts. Smart work multiplies effort. Okay, number 16, change your environment. Change your environment. Environment normalizes expectations. Environment normalizes expectations. If you're in an environment full of people who don't have high expectations for themselves, how do you expect to do that for you? If you are in an environment full of people who have high expectations for themselves and they're all trying to be a millionaire before they turn 40, and they're all trying to buy real estate before they turn 40, and they're all trying to leave a legacy for their kids and build trusts and do these things and do that and that will change your expectations for your life. Growth-minded rooms stretch identity because there's some things that you don't even know about that people are talking about, that you're not in those rooms talking about it. And it's so easy for you to change your ideals. It's so easy for you to grab a hold of a new thing if you're in that conversation, if you're in that room. But if you're not, you will never do that. Conversations influence confidence. Conversations influence confidence. When you're able to communicate something and you're able to have a conversation with somebody about it, that will influence your confidence because now you not only know information, but you can communicate it to somebody who can receive that. Exposure extends belief. Exposure extends belief. When you're exposed to different things, that's why I take my kids to look at bigger houses than the ones that we've already been in. I take them to look at the G-Wagons and the Rolls-Royce cars because I want to expand their belief. I want them to see the vacations and see the things that are possible for them so that they know that this is not a pipe dream type of situation. This is a when is it going to happen for me type of situation. When you're in those rooms where they're talking about how, certain belief systems that are bound to certain levels of income. We'll just say that. There's certain people who are maybe sitting on the maybe poverty line. And there's certain belief systems that are connected to that. But then when they come into a room with other people, they're wondering, they think differently about this. They view this differently. Why is that? Number 17, allow yourself to be a beginner. It's okay to be a student. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Beginners grow fast because they are a student. I am a student every chance I can. Yes, I know a lot of information, but I have no problem humbling myself and coming into a room of people who know something that I don't know and listening to what they have to say. At least give people an opportunity to teach you. You don't have to know everything. And sometimes if you already know something, it's okay to be quiet and shut your mouth. As women, shut your mouth for a second and let yourself learn something. Let somebody tell you their perspective of it. You see, a mature woman is quiet. A mature woman, and I had to learn this. I had to learn this. A mature woman knows when to speak. A mature woman knows when to listen and to receive information. They don't respond to everything that's said to them. You don't have to prove to anybody that you're smart. You don't have to prove it to anybody that you know things. And just because somebody's telling you something doesn't mean that they think you don't know. Okay, that was a little segue. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Beginners grow fast because they just take information and use it. They're not trying to manipulate it through their own understanding. They're not trying to figure it out. They just, okay, so this is how I use this microphone. Okay, perfect. Just put this here. That on there like that. Okay, perfect. And just, okay. I'm not like, let me just show you how I do it though. This is how I like to do it. And I like to, no, just be a beginner. Be easy. Perfectionism hides fear. It's not a good quality to say you're a perfectionist. People who come and when I interview people, because I have a lot of employees who work for me, when I interview people, if they tell me they're a perfectionist, anybody who's listening, if you want to be interviewed, do not tell me you're a perfectionist because I don't want anything to do with that. That sounds like a long journey for you, and I'm not going on that journey with you. You have to be able to run. And people who run, they're not trying to fix every detail. The details fix themselves. Now, yes, you should be detail oriented. I'm not telling you to not put your heart into it and do well, but you have to know when to move. Every expert started unsure. You can't know everything before you get there. You learn from experience. Progress requires humility. Humility. Let me say it again. Humility is required in order for you to grow. I should just drop this mic right now, but we need it, so we're not going to drop it. Progress requires humility. Not false humility. What is false humility? When you tell yourself you're humble, but you really aren't. Now, what's the difference between confidence and pride? Confidence can be coupled with humility. You can be confident in yourself and know who you are and believe in yourself and be like, I'm going places, and be humble because you know your place. You know where you're going and you know where you are. You know how to submit yourself when you need to submit yourself, and you know how to rise to the occasion when it's time to rise to the occasion. Pride, on the other side, is blind. Pride is not humble. You're running, you're bulldozing, you're just doing what you just want to show you are the thing, and you're not recognizing the facts. You're not taking time to know who you actually are. Okay, let's move forward. Number 18, take imperfect action. Take imperfect action. Action cures fear. Action cures fear. It's like, when you're afraid to jump off the plane so you can skydive. Now, I've never done this, nor will I, nor will any of my loved ones. I feel like I'm now contradicting myself, but you're on the airplane, you're about to jump off. Until you do it, you're not going to overcome the fear that's associated with doing it. But the moment you jump off and you have the adrenaline rush of a lifetime and you're overwhelmed and you're, oh my gosh, and you land and you're okay and the fear of that is cured. Waiting increases fear. We know this because now you're stewing on it. Momentum builds courage. Mistakes provide direction. And movement creates opportunity. Take imperfect action. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know that you're going to be okay. Sometimes die trying, girl. Die trying. Run to the moon. Do the things. Don't be the person who's afraid and who's sitting in the room thinking about what you could do and you wish you would do. Wear the red lipstick. Wear the dress. Do the hair. Walk into the room with your head up. Who cares if they hate you? Who cares? Break up with the jerk. Let him go. Let him go. Take imperfect action. Yeah, you might not know how it's going to work out. I know when my ex-husband left me, I was like, I didn't know what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? Well, I'm surviving. I'm surviving nice. I'm surviving real nice. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I had to take one step at a time to go forward. Go forward. Go forward. Okay, part 4. And I think this is the final part. Okay, part 4. Numbers 19 to 24 is going to be about faith, purpose, and legacy. Okay, so number 19, pray before you move. What does the word say? Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge him so that he can make your path straight. Now, what does it say? Acknowledge him in all of your ways. Acknowledge him in all of your ways. Why? What does that mean? Pray. Ask God before you do things. I love the story of Gideon in the Bible because Gideon, he did not want to make a mistake. He wanted to make sure that he knew what God was saying. Go and Google it. I don't have the verses for you, but go find out where's that story and read it. He asked God to give him a sign every step of the way because he wanted to make sure he was honoring God. And because of that, God made him the leader of all of the armies. And then God blessed him to be successful in his ventures. Pray before you move. It is pleasing to God that we would look to him before we go off and do what we do, before we make decisions. Now, does that mean we need to delay? Sometimes a prayer is just an acknowledgement of like, do I have a check in my spirit right now? Right now. It doesn't take 2 days, 3 hours, 2 weeks of fasting, laying on the floor, getting a sign. Sometimes we need to do that, but sometimes it's just a still, quiet voice that's already speaking. Now, how frustrating would it be if God is speaking to you right now and he wants you to move right now, but you're delaying? And he's like, go, go, go. And you're like, I need to pray about it. Go. What else do you need? Let's look at James chapter 2, verse 17. I'm using the New Living Translation for those of you who want to look it up. And it says, so you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Faith without works is dead. Faith includes action. Prayer aligns your direction with God. Obedience activates your growth. And God meets movement with provision. God meets your movement with provision. Don't get stuck in the prayer phase. God does not reward sitting around praying, but not knowing what God is saying and not doing anything. Remember when Jesus told the story of when they gave the men the mites, the rich man who gave his servants the money, and he told them to go and do what they needed to do with it. The one who did nothing, it was taken away from him and given to the one who did something. Number 20, believe you are allowed to prosper. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. God wants you to be blessed. He wants you to be blessed. Okay? And if you are not blessed, that is because he is waiting for you. You're not waiting for him. He already decided before the foundations of this earth were created, he foreknew you. That's what the Bible says. It also says that he wrote down the days of your life. So if he wrote down the days of your life, if he wrote down every single day of your life, then you have to know that he foreknew you and that he has a plan for you. And that everything that he already promised you from the end is available to you at the beginning, but you have to grow into it. Why do we know that? Because Jesus had to grow in wisdom before he stepped into his calling. We are called to be like who? Jesus. Okay, this isn't a sermon, so we got to move forward. Prosperity allows greater impact. We are called to take dominion over this earth, be financiers of the kingdom. How can we do that with no money? How are you going to have a great ministry to help many people and do all these things? It costs money to rent buildings. It costs money to have facilities, have homeless facilities. It costs money to feed the poor. It costs money to have a conference to bless many people with knowledge about the things of God. You need prosperity so you can bless the many. Wealth amplifies your generosity. Success and faith can coexist. The Bible says not that money is evil. It says the love of money is evil. The love of money is evil. Remove scarcity thinking. Okay? Remove scarcity thinking. That is not from God. He wants you to take dominion over this earth. If God did not want you to be wealthy, why did he bless the disciples? Like when he walked up to them, when he walked up to Peter, Peter was in a boat, right? And Peter was not making any money that day. And he told him to throw his net over the other side of the boat. Now, Peter's looking at Jesus like, I already did that and there's no fish out here. But he's like, I'm going to humor you. So he throws his net on the other side of the boat. And guess what happens? The fish that jumped into that net were ridiculous. He became a very wealthy person in a moment. Now, what does that say? There's nothing wrong with prospering. In a moment, he became prosperous. But where does your prosperity come from? That's the question. How are you seeking out that prosperity? And are you loving the prosperity over the thing that provided it? Now, if he looked at all this fish and now he's about to start selling all these fish and he's going to have all this money, he has this business, and he's like, wow, look at this. This is it. This is it. No, he served God. He devoted his life to God because he knew that he needed the God of the money, not the money that came from the God. That's backwards. Okay, so we have to remove scarcity thinking. We don't want to live like that. Nobody's supposed to live like that. Why are there streets of gold in heaven? And I'm not trying to do the prosperity gospel thing. That's not what this is about. But God wants you to be blessed. That's my point. Okay. Believe you are allowed to prosper. Believe that you are allowed to prosper. Okay, that was number 20. Number 21. See money as a tool. Money is not special. Money is paper. It's literally paper. You can rip it in half. Paper. Money is a tool, not something that you should worship, not something that you should over desire, nothing like that. Let's look at John chapter 10, verse 10, New Living Translation. And it says, the thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying lifestyle. And so this is when Jesus was talking to the disciples about the good shepherd and his sheep. And he's talking about the thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But when God comes into your life and you live for him, he wants to make you rich and allow for you to have a satisfying life. And how does he do that? How does he allow for you to have a satisfying life? Through the tool of money. Money reflects value exchange. Character must lead income. Your resources expand your mission. The more resources you have, the bigger your mission can be. Wealth supports freedom and service. Wealth supports freedom and service. Now, think generationally. Number 22. Think generationally. Think generationally. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. And it says, good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. Good people, a good man or a good woman, leaves an inheritance to their children and their children's children. You need to be thinking not only about your own life and your own success and having a satisfying life for you, but you need to be thinking about your children. And if you don't have children, your future children and your children's children, because that is the breakthrough. When your wealth exceeds your life, that is when you know that you have made it. Decisions today shape future generations. Break financial and mindset cycles. I tell my children, I don't let my children think that I don't have enough money for anything. If I say no, it's not because I don't have enough money, even when I don't, because they're so young, they can't understand. And I don't want to build that scarcity mindset in them. I try to do the things that they ask for. Now, are they spoiled? Maybe a little bit, but not spoiled rotten. But the goal for my children is to know that the sky is the limit for what they can have. And there is nothing that is too hard for God. And because it's not too hard for God, it's not too hard for me. When my kids ask me for things, which I try not to inspire their desires because their desires are big. They want to go to Hawaii. They're not asking me to go to McDonald's. Why is that? Because the mindset cycles have been shifted. Build options for your children. Legacy thinking increases discipline. Legacy thinking increases your discipline because now you have something you're building towards. Number 23, outgrow comfort. Comfort is not your friend. It feels like it's your friend. Nobody likes being in pain. I know when I work out, I'm like, ow, I don't want to be in pain for 2 weeks just from doing a leg workout. So now I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be in pain. Be okay with being in pain because it's getting you somewhere and it's doing something. Comfort zones shrink potential. Comfort zones shrink your potential. Growth feels unfamiliar at first. Expansion requires courage, and new levels require new habits. You have to change. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to do the things you didn't want to do, the things you never thought you would do. You have to do the things. Number 24, our final one, is decide today. Procrastination is the biggest killer of dreams. Do not be somebody who thinks about something forever. I know I thought about my dreams, my businesses. I am 36 years old. I'm just starting some things that I want to do. I'm just finishing those books. I'm just finishing certain things. When I could have, when I was 24, when I was 21, when I was 18, I could have did this. There's nothing more special about me than I got older and I have a little bit more wisdom. But I could have learned this information a long time ago and been successful a long time ago. Procrastination is killing people. Do not procrastinate. Transformation begins with decision. Waiting keeps life unchanged. Commitment creates momentum. And your future starts with one move. Your future starts with one move. So I want you to do me a favor and write down one thing that you got from today. And I want you to not only write it down, but make a commitment of something that you're going to do to change your habits, to change your mindset so that you can be the best version of yourself. It starts with you, and you're the only one who can make yourself make that commitment. So I just want to say, God bless you. I want to say that we say God speak because God is the driving force of everything that we do. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.